Hi, my name is Anne Green and today I will show you how to make an omelette with a twist and some paranthas. For your ingredients, you would need 2 onions, salt to taste, chilies to taste, dried coriander a half a teaspoon, fresh coriander few leaves, oil 3 tablespoons, 5 eggs and 2 tablespoons of water. Right, for your paranthas, you would need some butter. That's to taste. That's entirely up to you how much butter you want to put into your parantha. Some atta, which is a chapati flour. Right, to start off, you'll be cutting your onions. Once I've cut my onions, I'll be adding in my oil, making sure my pan is very warm before I add in the oil. Once it's warm enough, I'll be adding in my ingredients. So the first ingredients is my red chili powder, as you can see. And then I'll be adding in my salt. See, when you see the chili bubbling, that's when you know your pan is quite warm. So you don't want to warm the pan up too much. Enough so it stays warm. You don't want the oil to be piping hot. Otherwise your chilies will burn. You'll have that burning smell. Right, now I'll be adding in my onions. I'm cutting my onions directly into the pan. Right, I'm adding in a little bit more oil. It needs a bit more oil in it. Once you've added that in, you stir it. Mix it well so all your chilies are mixed in evenly with your onions. So you mix it. Okay, now I'll be adding in my green chilies. Make sure when you add in your green chilies, you cut them very fine, not too thick, because you don't want the chilies to keep coming in your mouth. So the finer it is, the better it is. And I think you get more of a taste if you cut it very fine. And then you add in your coriander. Make sure the coriander is cut fine as well. That's your own preference. If you like your coriander slightly large in your cooking, you can cut it a lot bigger than what I'm doing. So once you've cut all of that, you mix it. Okay, so you've got everything together now, so make sure you mix it really well. Okay, so now you can see it really bubbling, so you mix it really well until your onions are very soft. Make sure your heat is medium, don't cook it on a very high heat, otherwise your onions won't melt very well. So you keep stirring. Okay, so now I think I am ready to add in my dried coriander, as you can see, and you make sure you mix it really well. Okay, at this stage I'll be adding a drop of water in, just to speed the process of melting the onions. So once you've added in your water, you make sure you mix your onions really well. Right, at this stage I added in a little bit more water. I felt it was slightly dry. So you mix it until the onions have softened. Here you can see the onions have softened very well. Okay, now I am ready to cut my tomatoes. As you can see, I've cut them in small pieces so they melt quickly. Right, now you can see it's bubbling lovely and the onions have softened in so nicely. The water that I've added in has helped it soften a little bit more, and plus you've got the tomato juice coming out as well. So put the lid over it and let it steam for a little while. Okay, while that is cooking, I'm going to be adding in my eggs. So I would need 5 eggs. Okay, now it's time to whisk the eggs, so make sure you whisk them really, really well. Okay, now I check to see if the water has melted. At this stage I can see the water has really melted. It's smelling amazing at this stage. And now you'll be adding in your egg. Sorry, excuse my very floury hands. I was mixing the dough earlier on. That's the reason I haven't washed my hands. Okay, once you've added in your egg, let it cook for a little while. Once you feel that it is cooking, you can see the sides are cooking, then you slowly stir it. Very, very gently. You don't want to break your egg completely. Okay, make sure you cook the egg on a medium heat. Don't cook it too high. Slowly mix your egg. You can see it cooking now because you want your onions and your tomatoes to actually stick to the egg. If you keep stirring it continuously, your onions and your tomatoes will all come away separately. So gently fold the egg in like this. And this is what your egg should look like. You've got lovely colours and flavours in that egg. Okay, now we are ready to make our paranthas. So you get the dough, you open it like this, and you add in your butter in the centre. Put some more flour and fold your butter in like this. So make sure your sides are folded in, and then you roll it into a sausage. Make sure you keep topping it up with flour, and then you twist it around and press it down like this. Easy. Once you've done that, add some more flour in, and you are ready to roll your paranthas now. So the butter is sitting nicely into your dough. So you press all the sides, making sure that they're all pressed down and the butter won't come out. Okay, once you're happy with that, you roll it. So you've got a nice circle. The thinner you roll your paranthas, the more crispier it will be. So we like our paranthas fairly crispy, so I tend to roll my paranthas very thin. So you keep rolling until you're happy with the size of your paranthas. Right, now I am ready to put it onto my pan. Make sure your pan is very hot before you put it on. If you put it on a cold pan, it won't cook properly. It'll be very dry. See, you can see my butter sizzling away because my pan is very hot. I'm adding a little bit more butter at the top. So if you are following a strict diet, my advice is not to eat the paranthas. I don't make paranthas that often, probably have one parantha in 5 or 6 months time. So it's a nice treat, especially if you've made some lentils or soup curry. But I wouldn't eat parantha as an everyday food. It does contain a lot of calories. So once in a while it won't harm you, so it's a nice treat. Okay, when you cook your paranthas, you have to make sure your pan is not on a high heat. Make sure you cook your paranthas on a very low heat, low to medium. If you want a nice crispy paranthas, cook it in a very low heat. Right, that's cooking lovely. you can see that it is crisping up. Those brown bubbles on it is crisping the paratha away. And that is what my yummy paratha looks like. Nice and crispy. And that looks absolutely delicious. Normally I would have a nice pickle with my omelette and paratha just to enhance the flavour.